Welcome back, faithful listener, to
We have at least two. We know.
yeah, we've got a few listeners at this point, but still not a ton. But yeah, that's besides the point. Welcome back to CNM in the PM with your boys Joe and Michael.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a quick case of the hiccups that I will be addressing. All right, I'm good.
Before we start actually talking about it, can
Um,
you send me that list like on my phone or something, so that I have it too,
yeah,
in case any jump out at me?
yeah. Well, I'm just looking at an article that has the list. So the list.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just put it. I'll put it in bot commands because
I can't
there's.
change my Discord.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
actually, but I can open Discord on my phone. It's fine.
Yeah.
Boop
So
boop.
what we're looking at tonight, or going through, is basically there's some religious group, church, something, I don't know the specific denomination or affiliation, that has produced a list of this is the list of components of Satan's spiritual structure and doorways to demonic possession 2022. Basically, it's just a bunch of stuff that old white Christian people don't like for various
Religions.
various reasons.
I know. I know exactly what words got mixed up in your head because you were definitely trying to say religious reasons. It
Yes.
just came out as one.
And so we're just going to go through item by item our just hot take of the situation, whether we get it, whether
It's
we
just
don't get it.
opinionated. Don't
And
look into it too deeply. All right.
and when we say get it or don't get it, we don't mean we agree these things will
Looking.
lead to demonic possession. We just like very much understand why not just like 70-year-old Christian people, white Christian people might have an issue with it, but like even like 30-year-old Christian white people. Um, and obviously like not just Christians might have issues with any of these and not just white people, but
Like
largely these are the stuff that conservative old people have issues with.
for an example, I'm not gonna agree with everything on this list. And I'm definitely not gonna say this one specifically. It leads to demonic possessions. But LSD and shrooms, definitely a good way to get started. Like,
Yeah, yeah, we can.
you're trying to talk to the devil. That's a good way to go.
So we should probably go in order so we don't miss anything. And there is some stuff we're just going to have to look up
Yeah.
because I don't know what everything is here. I know what a lot of it is, but yeah.
No,
So yeah, LSD
100%. We're gonna have to
slash
look this
shrooms,
up.
hallucinogenic drugs makes a lot
Which,
of
hold
sense.
on. Oh, never mind, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm good. That's not going in order.
Yeah, but you brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Because, yeah,
Yeah.
you see shit.
Yeah, I don't think we really have to get into that
Yeah,
one much.
if you're hallucinating, yeah, you'll see shit. Like, okay, I
Drugs.
could.
Which on that note, we should also just go ahead and cover the thing above it, marijuana and pot parties.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
It's just more like, yeah, drugs.
Yeah, drugs. They can cause you to hallucinate. What a fucking
Yeah.
shocker.
So, do you want to do this column by column or row by row?
um,
Like, do you want to do all the left and then all the right, or do you want to go
yeah, we'll go
from
down.
top to bottom?
We'll
Going,
go top to
yeah.
bottom. The first one, and then we'll switch.
All right. So the first thing, Eastern religions.
Really fucking specific on that one, eh? You know,
Yeah.
Gotta keep the canvas
So-
nice and wide.
My assumption would be that this covers like Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Shinto, like the East Asian religions,
Hmm.
maybe Hinduism to some extent. Uh, I would not be surprised if they included Islam because that's just further east than Christianity, technically, but not really. Seeing as
It's
like,
quote unquote further east.
seeing as like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity like all believe
Kind of in the
in the same
same.
God, and like it's just how they get to places is different.
Yeah.
I really get frustrated sometimes by like Christians that just don't realize that like Muslims believe that Allah, which is literally just Arab God, is the same God who Christians believe in and who Jewish people believe in. Because all Christian, I say all, most Christians understand that like the God of Moses is just as relevant to Christians as he is to Jewish people because Moses is the same person. There's some like alt right people that don't realize that like Jewish people believe that, and anyway, but there seems to be this disconnect where they don't realize that Mohammed just claimed that Jesus was a disciple, or not a disciple, a prophet, as opposed to the son of God, and Mohammed just claims to be the last prophet, and all sorts of delineation. And I don't really want to
Let's not get
get
into
too
theology
yeah.
here.
Let's not get into theology and history because I know plenty on this specific subject, and we don't need to go there. But yeah, so I'm assuming they're just more referring to the more spiritual, uh, polytheistic, or
I mean, with some of the
way
other
of
things
life.
on this list, I would not be surprised if they included Judaism in that also. Like,
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
this is
So
definitely
next,
like American or British, not.
I think this is American. I 100% think this is American.
I'm not gonna
Um,
argue with you on that fact. I'll believe you. Like,
yeah,
I fits into where I think it goes, so good enough for me. Like, I don't know.
yeah. Next on the list, we have something you took particular interest in: yoga.
Which to me, it's a why? Why yoga? Like, what? Who's going to yoga classes and being like, Satan? That's why I'm here. I just
Well,
want to get centered and really be able to communicate with Satan quickly.
I'll have you know that there's actually a court case, I believe, in Alabama dealing with whether or not yoga should be allowed during gym class.
What?
Yes, because
Why?
because yoga is, I believe, Buddhist in origin. And so there are certain words used in association with yoga and used for like just understanding yoga that are Buddhist. And so all the like soccer moms were like, "Hey, you're teaching our kids not Christianity. And if it's not Christianity, then we're going to enforce separation of church and state. But if it is Christianity, please keep it in the schools
Well,
because
yeah.
double standards and ignorance."
Don't be
Yeah, so
ridiculous, Joe. What else are we gonna do?
so there's some people that claim that kind of side, but I also like just 100% think there's some old person out there that's like, "Oh, my son started doing yoga and then he came out as gay. The yoga made him gay." When it's like, nah, he was gay
nah,
beforehand.
nah, bro. He
Which,
was. If
which
yoga
like,
is enough to make your son gay,
yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Super Chieftain, he was already gay.
Which I also want to iterate that I'm not trying to insinuate that if you are a man and like yoga, you are gay. I
No,
think yoga
I
sounds
think the
incredibly
exact
fun and
opposite.
relaxing.
The
Yeah.
exact opposite actually. If you think yoga is enough to turn somebody gay, you probably haven't been to a yoga class. And two, that person was gay already.
Yeah, yoga's a bit out there. I kind of understand it. I really don't. Like,
Kind
I
of, but
understand
also
it.
like no.
I understand it to the extent that's connected to Eastern religions.
Yeah, I
So if you believe
guess.
Eastern religions can make you demonically possessed, then like yoga falls under that umbrella.
Yeah,
But
but still, like
very vaguely. Yeah, that one's dumb.
that was just eh. I don't like it.
Next is Freemasonry,
Freemasonry. Now,
which is not.
there's no way that means what I think it means.
If what you think it means is people not charging you for bricklaying, uh,
That is exactly what my brain goes to, so please tell me I'm wrong.
no. So,
Or tell me I'm
no,
right, honestly. I'd be alright with that too.
unfortunately, you're not right. Uh, Brief overview because I have not studied the Freemasons well, so any of this could be wrong. Freemasons started around the time of the Enlightenment in Europe as kind of a work working man's labor union is what I would equate it to today. It wasn't a labor union by any means. Um, During the Enlightenment, everyone's focusing more on science and math and just learning and gathering knowledge and philosophy and political science. And so during that time, all the nobles and rich people were meeting in cafes and like nice places and hanging out. And so the Mason lodges were places where like the working man could go. And since not everybody could read, some people would just read out loud. It just became this like society of or club of working class people that eventually actually became its own religion.
Good
At
for
some
them.
point, it's like its foundations are Christian, but about the same extent that Mormons are founded in Christianity. Like they agree that all the stuff in the Bible like pretty much happened, but then they added extra stuff to it at the end. Um,
Gotcha.
some weird stuff. I don't, and this is where like I get real fuzzy. If National Treasure is to be believed, then many of the founding fathers were
National
Freemasons.
treasure, bro. I'm gonna be real with you, all right? I'm gonna be, I'm gonna keep it real with you for a second. You're basing any religious beliefs at all. I don't care what it is. On
No, no, no. So everything I said right before the National Treasure comment, I learned in history classes at university.
Okay.
My statement that was going to follow the National Treasure comment was National Treasure made this claim. I have no clue if it was at all founded in history. So the first National Treasure movie, where they were looking for like the lost treasure from the Crusades that like the founding fathers had put away somewhere in Boston.
Okay.
Um, that treasure was related to the Freemasons. And so National Treasure made the claim that a whole bunch of the founding fathers were Freemasons. And I believe I've heard that claim elsewhere. I don't know for sure because to me, based on the time, because the founding fathers were part of the Enlightenment and the United States came out of the Enlightenment. So I could see them being Freemasons in the extent that they went to Mason lodges
Yeah.
and like hung out, not necessarily religiously. I think I've heard the claim Ben Franklin was a Freemason other places. But yeah, so Freemasonry, basically this weird obscure cult at this point that doesn't have a ton of following. It's ridiculously secretive. Uh just about as secretive, I believe, as like the Mormon uh practices because like a lot of the stuff that happens within the Mormon church, like we just have heard stories of. We don't actually know because they don't allow recordings and different stuff. So yeah, at some point the Freemasons changed from just being a bunch of people hanging out, reading literature, and having discussions to a cult.
We don't know when, but I don't know what happened to them. They were doing real great before. Like they were doing pretty all right to start with, and then they just I don't know, they did their own thing, which, in fairness, is the reason a lot of things suck. Like
Yeah. Um. So then we have Illuminati groups,
I feel like,
which I don't know what that means.
how does that lead to demons? I want to know where the connect is there. I guess is what I'm trying to figure
So,
out.
what I'm thinking is the people that made this list just don't know what the Illuminati
Is and they're
supposedly
like,
is.
nope, get rid of that too. That sounds suspicious.
And all they know is it's a secretive group with secret meetings, and they're like, "That's a cult.
That's
Write it
a
down.
cult. Just so everyone's clear.
Put it on the list."
That's a
Yep.
cult.
Because like there's no evidence to suggest that there are any like secret groups running the entire like world governments together. There is a group of ridiculously rich people that meet once a year. I believe the family that like founded Walmart and Sam's Club are part of it. The Waldens, I think is their name. And they meet like once a year to talk about the economy. And it's one of the most secretive meetings that happens like today. But I don't think they're actually the Illuminati. I think the
they're
Illuminati
meeting.
like came about as a joke about them. And I do think they're doing something shady. Like, don't get
They're
me
a
wrong.
big
Like,
corporation. Of course, they're doing something shady. It's what they're good at.
but it's not like the Walmart board meeting. Like it's like a bunch of founding people of different super rich companies.
That's
and like
what
it's just
makes it that. The fact
ridiculously
that they
rich.
don't want to do this in their board meetings makes it that much more suspicious. Like,
Yeah. New Age religions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The fuck is a New Age religion?
Compared to an old age religion, like what?
Like, is a New Age religion just like the people buying crystals or essential oils and talking about how they make you feel? Like, or is this just literally like random cults that pop up from here or there? Because like, at what point is the distinction between new and old age religions?
Yeah.
Like the newest of the 5 major religions, if I remember them correctly, as Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The newest is Islam.
Yeah.
I believe. Maybe, yeah.
So maybe it does just mean like crystals.
It's so.
Which I guess
Maybe.
makes sense, but like still, what
Yeah,
the fuck
I don't
are
know.
You on? What are these people
But
who make this list on, man?
If you're a cranky
and
old
I
Christian,
have some.
and if you're a cranky old Christian, with like the way Christianity actually functions, like anyone who isn't a Christian is damned to go to hell. So like, literally everything that isn't something directly related to being a Christian or like worship could fit on this list, technically.
Yeah, but like,
so I just we could just move on. I don't really know.
Like-
Church of Satan?
Oh no, no way! I refuse to believe it. The Church of Satan would never lead to demonism. They would never do such a thing.
I don't think a lot needs to be said here. Which also goes, in my opinion, for the next thing of Scientology. Like, that's just some sort of weird cult thing going on.
Yeah.
Not much needs to be said. I actually need to look up this next thing.
What's the next thing?
Rosicrucianism?
Oh, yeah. Dude, you don't know that? That comes to right at the front of my mind. What do you mean?
Tell me what it is, Michael. Right now.
I have no fucking clue. Get off my dick.
Rosicrucianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that arose in Europe in the early 17th century after the publication of several texts purported to announce the existence of a hitherto unknown esoteric order to the world and made seeking its knowledge attractive to many.
What?
I don't know.
What did you just say?
Uh,
You said
I'm
you
working.
said words,
I'm
and they
working
were
on it.
all
I'm
real
working on
words.
it.
But
Working on figuring it out.
like you said words, and I understood the words themselves, but when you put them all together, no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Why
Uh,
do I have so many unemployed beavers? Sorry.
yeah. So it looks like it's just some sort of saying of like, oh, there are unknown things happening in the background, and blah 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 blah. Physical universe, spiritual realm. Uh, it looks like pretty generic mumbo jumbo saying like there's something else, there's something happening behind the scenes, we just don't know what it is.
Yeah, again, no one is surprised by this fact. Like,
Yeah, no, that makes sense that it's on the list. Sure.
well, no, I more meant no
Uh,
one's surprised that things are happening in the background. Like, yeah,
oh
no
yeah, yeah.
shit.
Astrology, which is, to be
Alright,
clear,
can
like the
at least.
zodiac stuff. It's not astronomy.
Because
when I first saw when
planets.
I first saw astrology, like I know the difference. I was like, I know they're talking about like zodiac signs and whatever the fuck it's called.
Fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson, alright? That guy's a
But
fucking asshole.
I was really like, it'd be so funny if just astronomy was on the list instead. Like they got confused.
They mixed
And
it
they're
up on
like,
accident. Yeah.
fuck studying science, studying
Fuck,
space,
fuck
fuck
space.
planets. Halley's Comet isn't real.
Those are the things we like to see. Like, nope, that shit ain't real. You're full of shit.
Yeah, so all the zodiac signs and like whatever the fuck it's called when they're what's it called? The word is escaping me. Not your Horcrux. This isn't Harry Potter. That's later on the list.
Horoscope.
Horoscope. Thank you. Yeah, the horoscope stuff.
I don't know what's worse, that you said Horcrux or that I understood what you meant when you said Horcrux.
It's a similar sounding word. I was putting it out there so you could help me because I knew I was close.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't know what's worse, is that I got it or that.
No, Michael, we connect at a deeper level. All the jokes or memes that's like I don't know if you've seen the video of the two dogs. I don't know what breed they are, but they got the real pale light blue eyes like Australian shepherds
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And the one is eating a cardboard box, and the other is just panting, like staring at a random.
Yeah, these two have one brain cell shared between them, and it's being used to chew the box. That's us.
Like,
that's me.
that is us. We have more than one brain cell. We have like 10.
But
right?
only one
And
of us can have all of them.
No, but we're never equal.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it's always by like a major majority. It's never like a 6-4 split. It's always at least a 7-3.
7-3 is still a bit generous, I feel like.
No, it's probably fair. Tarot cards, Ouija boards.
Yeah, again, same kind of thing. Where it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
kinda.
guess you try to communicate with lands beyond.
Yeah. Well, and I've told you about the substitute teacher I had who was a exorcist. Yeah. I don't know if that's been brought up on the podcast. I feel like that definitely should have been brought up at some point.
It hasn't until just now. And
yeah,
now it's now it's here.
Yeah. In high school, there was a substitute teacher who one day, you know, you don't really want to do work, so you get the teacher talking about their regular life. We did that to him, which, I mean, he was a substitute, so he just gave us like worksheets that the teacher left anyways. He wasn't giving us a lesson or a lecture, I should say. And he was like, I really probably shouldn't say this, but yeah, my normal job is I'm a Protestant exorcist.
Yeah, it wasn't even like the way you said it the first time was like, oh yeah, he just used to be an exorcist and now he works in a school. And then when you're like, oh, his normal job, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, he was a substitute teacher. He did that, like he would just pick up shifts here or there for the extra money. But because I don't think being an exorcist pays terribly well,
No,
which is a real
you got a
shame.
point. It really should. You're right.
Yeah, so he told us all these stories of different stuff, and basically his whole thing was uh the Catholic Church would get called about like a potential haunting or possession or like demonic presence. Priest shows up, confirms whether or not there's a demon in at the place or in the person or whatever. Now, the Catholic Church will do that for anybody. I guess they just like keeping tabs on where demons are. However, the Catholic Church,
gotta make sure them demons don't, we don't want them to get
yeah,
anywhere,
the
important.
Catholic Church does not conduct exorcisms for non-Catholics.
Which is just like a real kick in the balls. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move.
You have demons. Okay, bye.
Like, it's not safe to live here. The demons will probably follow you. They may try to kill your child. Should have been a Catholic.
Have
See
a
you
good
later.
one. Yeah.
So
It's a
when
real
that happened,
fuck you. Anyways.
yeah, when that happens, the Catholic Church or like the priest or whoever actually contacts this guy. I don't remember his name. If I did, I probably wouldn't give it. And so then he shows up and exercises it.
Which,
Um,
what a great guy.
oh yeah, no, he was a very nice guy. He ended up getting fired
Oh, I
because of
wonder
this.
why.
Because it freaked out some of the students, and or the students like me were very excited by it
Or the opposite
and went
problem.
home. Yeah, but regardless of which of the two it was, some students told their parents about it, and that's what I'm saying is I don't know if the students were excited about it or if the students were freaked out. But the parents were then freaked out, or like, "Yo, we're not okay with this guy just talking about demons in English class."
That's the best place
So,
to talk about demons.
oh yeah, it was great. So he
Where else are
actually
you gonna
said,
casually chat about demons?
yeah, he actually warned us. He was like, "Don't." Obviously, he didn't use this language because it was a school teacher, but he was like, "Don't fuck with tarot cards. Don't fuck with Ouija boards." And there was something else he said.
You just
I don't
can't
remember.
quite put your finger on what it was.
Yeah, but he was like, "Don't do these things. Like, it's like sending a beacon of yourself out into the spiritual plane. Like, it's like telling the demons that you're interested in finding them, and they'll come find you and they'll fuck you up."
I mean,
Um,
again, he's giving good advice.
oh yeah, I don't mess with that stuff. Like, I just don't see a need.
I don't want to waste my time, Like, I feel like I've got more important shit that I could do with my life.
That being said, Ouija boards are sold at Toys R Us.
Yeah. Oh no, 100% I'd fuck with a Ouija. If I knew someone who had a Ouija board, I'd fuck with a Ouija board. I'm a
Hasbro Gaming does not care. They
Hasbro's
said,
like,
take the demons.
Hasbro's like, oh, you can play with demons with this thing? Perfect. That's what we want.
All right, I need to look up the next thing. Remote viewing?
Like,
Viewing what?
like Team Viewer, where I can access my computer from home? Is that what this is about? Like, so when I'm out and about, I can still look at my... I'm not allowed to do that? Okay, cool. Anyway.
There's a movie about remote viewing. So this is a thing.
Why?
I don't know. Group of misfit filmmakers document their experiments with remote viewing, the alleged paranormal ability to perceive remote or hidden targets by using extrasensory perception.
That was in English, and I still don't know what that means. Like, I'm trying to be real with you, Chief. No idea what the fuck that means.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just people trying to like use psychic powers
Oh,
and like
good for them.
see
Like,
stuff. Yeah, and like see stuff. I don't know what stuff they're trying to see, but that's what they're doing.
good for them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what you
All
want to do.
right.
That's what you want to do.
That checks out. Anything involving like psychic powers, like yeah, that makes sense. Uh Palmistry, which I believe is like palm reading.
Yeah. Again, same kind of vein where it's like, yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
guess. Like, I don't.
Like I think so much about so many things is like complete hokey, but anyone who genuinely believes in palm reading, I don't get.
Yeah,
Because
palm
like
reading is just one of those things to me where it's like, why though?
like I could just cut my hand with a kitchen knife. I could go to the palm reader, go to one palm reader, get a reading, cut my hand with a kitchen knife, go to a different one, and get a vastly different reading because
completely
there's now a
different reading.
huge slash in my hand.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. That
Like,
one, palm readers have never made sense to me, and maybe that's just a
yeah.
me thing. I don't know, but
Uh, voodoo.
again, same
Yeah.
kind of vein, I guess.
Yeah. Uh, earth worship.
Don't know what that means.
Is that just tree huggers?
I really hope so.
Like, is this just an anti-hippie thing?
Fuck hippies. Actually, I have nothing
Wait,
against hippies.
am I not allowed to celebrate Earth Day? Do I have to like go pollute on Earth Day or something?
Jesus.
Earth-centered religion or nature worship is a system of religion based on. Yeah, so it's not tree hugging because
it's worshiping the earth.
yeah,
Which, I
yeah,
mean, I
which
guess
is what I
makes sense
figured.
to make, like, I guess that
Any
makes sense, but also like, what?
yeah, I mean anything worshiping something that isn't Jesus, like that's what kind of what I was saying
Yeah.
earlier. Is like yeah, it's just whatever. Wicca, which is like witchcraft but
But different.
slightly different. Yeah. With extra steps, I guess. So same vein. Cyberpunk culture.
Cyberpunk, alright. Cyberpunk is really hurting the kids. This game is brutal. It's killing our attendance, man.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I can imagine that this made the
Specifically
list,
Cyberpunk.
which is weird because video games, just that vague, like literally just video
Yeah.
games, is on the list.
Yeah.
So like, why do you need to include specifically cyberpunk culture? Because I guarantee most of these people have had no clue what cyberpunk was before Cyberpunk 2077. And that's not to say that Cyberpunk 2077 was like the first thing to do cyberpunk. Like obviously something had to be cyberpunk for cyberpunk. And like aesthetically, cyberpunk is like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, punk aesthetic. And I would argue that in many ways I am punk. Not in every way, of course, but
We've had that conversation, and
Yeah.
I stand by that. I agree with
Yeah.
that sediment. I agree with that sediment. I like when you use sand,
that
and I
dirt.
agree with that.
So yeah, I don't really understand this one. Other than like Cyberpunk 2077 was just like drugs, cybernetic enhancements, sex, like just
Yeah.
vices, because that was the whole point of the game. The point of the game was not vices, but it was like the crime undercity. So of course there's
Going to
vices.
be vices.
Yeah, so I don't really know what they're getting at with that one, but divination, okay, yeah, trying to be psychic, sure. Meditation.
Again, just like, why? I guess is my question. Like,
like I know a lot of Christians today that like use meditation in their prayer or as a way to center themselves. And like,
It's just a
sure, the
good way
Christians I
of.
know that do that are more progressive, but meditation is literally like just taking X amount of time out of your day to sit still and try to think
Or like
or
as
not to think.
as two people who have, dabbled a good bit biblically. It's weird. I guess it's weird to me because there's multiple times when you're told to meditate on whatever. And so the fact that meditation is a sin doesn't make sense at all to me.
I
Meditate
guess
on
they
these
think,
things, but meditation will lead to the devil. What?
yeah, they think that by sitting still and emptying out your mind, a demon will just replace your brain. Just zoop, it's
Well,
in there.
yeah,
It's on
obviously.
empty seat. Um, I love the next two things so much. I'm so glad we're on this list. Vegetarianism.
Ah, fuck. One of. I didn't even see that. No way. There's no way. I don't
Being a
believe
vegetarian makes you be possessed. You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. If you don't eat meat, you're a bad person, and the devil is coming for you.
So this is 100% just thrown in here as like some 70-year-old man in the back, 75, 80, just like cattle farmer his entire life. They're at the meeting to make this list. He hasn't said a word the entire meeting.
They get to the end of the meeting.
They're about to close up, and then he just like coughs himself awake. Vegetarianism. What, Randall?
Like he was having a nightmare about vegetarians. And he just happened to wake up at that point in the meeting, and he was like, "Oh fuck, shit!"
all these godless millennials eating their Beyond Meat and kale chips. They got the devil in them. Vegetarianism.
They got the devil in them. There's no other explanation.
And everybody was like, sure, Randall. Yeah, we'll write that down. Whispers, delete that later. Forgets to delete.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, it's not the end of the world. And then lycanthropy.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
I do not. I'm dumb as dirt.
You should know what that is from Dungeons and Dragons.
Dude, if you think I can
Okay.
remember that shit right now.
So lycanthropy is werewolves, were-rats,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so lycanthropy is within mythology, pop culture, whatever you want to call it, depending on what source you're getting it from, is the disease that makes you turn into a larger magical version of a creature based on certain parameters. So obviously, like werewolves and full moons is a very common theme, but depending on what media you're partaking in, the werewolves might just turn by choice. It really all kind of depends. So yeah, lycanthropy, I think it's just weird, because up until now, right, like everything on this list is either a religion or a lifestyle or something related to those things,
Or
right?
like something that's real.
Yeah, or so. Well, yeah, yoga's real, I suppose. Yoga, meditation.
Yoga's not real. Yoga
I
was made up.
Well, I was just looking at all the like conceptual things, and I was like, Scientology's not real, Michael. And then I saw yoga at the top again. I was like, yeah, yoga's real.
But people believe in Scientology.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like, it's at least a belief that people. But like, there's no actual werewolves. There's actual Scientologists. There is no actual werewolves.
But yeah,
anywhere.
It's just funny because the insinuation of this list is that believing any of these false doctrines is like wrong, and they're wrong. But then also like it potentially opens up like it's a little ambiguous, like remote viewing or voodoo or Wicca. Like this list doesn't really make it clear whether or not this organization that put this out, I don't know the organization, believes in those things, right? Because I know plenty of people that claim to be, I say I know plenty of people, like I know of plenty of people that claim to participate in voodoo or Wicca, or like I see signs for palm readers and like fortune tellers and
Yeah,
tarot
yeah,
cards
yeah,
around town. So like there are people that either believe these things or try to scam people by pretending they believe these things.
yeah.
And so you can argue that it's like participating in these things, real or not, is bad and opens it up. But lycanthropy being on this list
Means that.
leads me to believe that this organization believes there are real werewolves. And being a werewolf will get you possessed.
Which, by the way, is amazing. In
Oh,
case that
fantastic.
wasn't clear.
There's a group of old people, old conservatives out there that believe in werewolves. Confirmed.
Which is, again, amazing. I cannot stress this enough. I love that.
I want to meet these people. I want to meet
I
the
do
people
too.
that made this list. Even though like so many things on this list, like I participate in to one extent or another. Yeah.
Currently playing
wanna
video
meet these
games like
Postmodernism, which I don't really feel like getting into, because I'd have to look it up to refresh myself. But it's like something to do with philosophy or
whatever.
political views,
Yeah.
something like that. Like it's just a new age philosophy. Backmasking. Don't know what this is.
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Backmasking.
Genuinely just don't know what that means.
Backmasking. Oh. Backward messages in like music and stuff.
Oh. Well, that's
So-
dumb.
Well, because there's that list of there's a list of
Well, I mean, like,
backmasked messages on Wikipedia.
Guess I can understand it a little bit, but like still kind of dumb.
Which like some of the messages, it's like, okay, I understand why this is in here.
You know what?
So
Okay,
some
you know
of
what
it isn't.
really like makes me so happy about that though. Is the fact that one of the most popular Christian artists for young people, specifically for young people, is NF, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, he has this whole song where you can play it backwards.
Yeah.
10 feet down is you can do it backwards.
I actually
So to me,
didn't know that.
Yeah, so the random gibberish in 10 feet down is the chorus backwards.
Okay.
Just a fun fact,
yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
So some of the messages in here like make sense as far as like why it would be included in the song. Like the Judas Priest song "Love Bites," it's backmasked at some point in the song. In the dead of the night, love bites. Fair enough. Has something to do with it. In the Kiss album Hate, I think. Yeah. At some point it says Corgan. Don't know why. It's just in there. Corgan. Insane Clown Posse has in one song album, "Fuck the devil, fuck that shit. We believe in life legit. If you dig in what we say, why throw your soul away?" Just kind of
That
nice,
seems like the
annoying.
opposite of.
Yeah. But the very first listed thing is Ash in the album Evil Eye. The message, "She's giving me the evil eye. Suck Satan's cock." So when you look at a message like that, it's like, okay, sure. But I'm pretty sure that's just someone being like, yeah, we just don't like the church. Whatever. Like, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know, but that's not how the church interprets it, of course. But yeah, like most of these messages are just like related to the song, or just seem completely random, or it's just someone's name. Like it's very random stuff, and then it's the occasional like satanic thing, which is like 100% just the band choosing to do that because they know of the reputation of backmasking. Astral projection, which is like out of body experiences, makes sense. Here's another one that is kind of like, do these people believe this is a real thing, or is it just people claiming it's a real thing? Necromancy.
That brings up so
I
many
would
questions.
I would argue that, like, sure, if you believe necromancy is real, doing it could probably lead to demonic possession.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But if you don't believe necromancy is real, is this just people claiming to be necromancers? What does this mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Like, I don't know a single person. I've never seen a sign for someone claiming to perform necromancy.
Yeah, no, me neither. No, that's a new one. Pretty sure no one's out here just being like, "Oh yeah, bringing back people from the dead." What? God, people are weird.
Interesting. So the next thing is rebirthing,
Okay.
which I don't know what it is. I'm researching it right
Again,
now. Oh, interesting. So
oh.
what I gather is that rebirthing is a therapy technique designed to simulate the
Oh,
experience of
I do
being
know what that
born.
is. Yeah. Actually,
As in,
unfortunately, I do
it's
know what that is.
believed that um, it can help with certain things. So it has to do with like breathing technique while going through it. It has been banned in the state of Colorado. I don't know why I said
What I'd like to
Colorado
say,
like
of
that, like
all the things,
Colorado
of all the things
for
that
Colorado to ban.
Colorado is okay with, that's where they draw the line.
Well, rebirthing therapy, controversial treatment for reactive detachment disorder. I don't know what that is. Has been banned in the U.S. state of Colorado 1 year after it resulted in the death of a 10-year-old girl.
Huh.
So I think that's why they banned it.
Yeah, but like shrooms are legal in Colorado.
Okay, but like, as long as you don't pick the bad shrooms, you're not gonna just die.
I mean, you could still
Probably.
overdose, like.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how shrooms work. I'm gonna be honest. But the girl died during a 70-minute session in which she was wrapped from head to toe and surrounded by pillows. The girl cried out that she was suffocating. Therapists continued to push her in an attempt to simulate uterine contractions. Episode was videotaped, probably for like recording, like record keeping or scientific purposes, something like that. And so that was used in evidence. Uh, and the therapist involved were convicted of reckless child abuse, resulting in death, and sentenced to 16 to 48 years imprisonment.
Yeah,
Get
again,
fucked.
you kind of deserve that. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I don't really understand a whole lot of what's going on. I don't really understand how it leads to demonic possession. Seems like just something really weird that is potentially dangerous.
yeah, that one I'll say at least a demonic possession because it seems dangerous. Whether it does or not, I don't care, but I'll say it does because that's not okay.
The next thing is Kabbalah. Which I don't really know what it is. I'm looking it up now. It appears to be something associated with astrology and certain other like religions, something maybe doing with like chakra or something. Like it it falls under all the other like
Really
semi
love a good
culty
chakra
or
video.
astrology stuff. Now we get into the thing I commented on this list that surprised me for being included. Lord of the Rings.
I mean, because of what I know about what happens later in the list, does Lord of the Rings really surprise you all that much?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You're okay with D&D being on there, but not Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Because, like, to me, if you're gonna put D&D on there, I feel like Lord of the Rings kind of fits in.
Okay, but I straight
Mm,
up know like homeschool parents, like from growing up, that would say that Harry Potter and Dungeons and Dragons are of the devil, like specifically those two things, which are both on the list, and their kids would binge watch Lord of the Rings because Gerald Tolkien was like a personal close friend with C.S. Lewis. Um, he was Catholic, so he wasn't Protestant, which a lot of people have hangups on in the Protestant church these days. Not specifically J.R.R. Tolkien, but like they'll hear someone's a Catholic and they're like, "Oh, so they're not a Christian," and it's like that's completely missing like so much just world history, let alone
dude, you're
theology.
missing the point, alright?
So yeah, like Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, has like tons of like Christian tones and notes throughout it. And while it's it Lord of the Rings, its stated purpose, if I recall correctly, by Tolkien, was basically to create a mythology for the UK or Great Britain. Much in the same sense that like Homer contributed so much to our current understanding of Greek mythology with the Odyssey and the Iliad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is my understanding of like the origin of the story, because there's also some people that are like that claim, and I haven't done a ton of research on Tolkien, so anything I say here could technically be wrong, but claim that Tolkien started
Take
writing.
everything we say with a grain of salt, because we're
Yes,
not.
yes, literally there's a correction to something I said in the description for episode 10, something I got wrong, but
we don't.
um
We're not
yeah,
experts.
but Tolkien, uh I know some people say he started writing Lord of the Rings because he did it as a oral bedtime story, like just recited the entire Lord of the Rings. Probably not like The Hobbit or the whatever his history book is called, the Silmarillion or something. Um, but apparently his son like had such a good memory that he would say something about like Gandalf knocking on uh, Bilbo's door like two times. And his son would be like, "But you said three times last time, and this time you said the door was green, and last time it was blue." Tolkien was like, "All right, listen here, you little shit."
Listen here, alright, shithead. The doors
So he
are a
started.
fucking color I want it to be.
Yeah, so I don't know quite the full history of the origins of Lord of the Rings. I know like Mordor and the orcs are supposed to represent Nazis to some extent, but also like hell. I don't know. It's all very weird in a way. But yeah, so I'm not like devastatingly surprised Lord of the Rings is on the list.
Yeah, Lord
Like
of the
I
Rings I
definitely
saw
would
and I
put
was like, yeah.
I would definitely put Lord of the Rings on the list before yoga
Oh.
or vegetarianism, and maybe even before lycanthropy. But
Again, fuck vegetarians. No one should ever spend any time with vegetarians ever. They're the worst.
I feel like I remember you mentioning at some point that Olivia's a vegetarian.
She is.
I was like, the way you're saying this, there's an inside joke here. I think I know it. Yeah, fire walking, which I'm pretty sure is just
That's
walking on
just
hot
cool.
coals.
Like,
Yeah,
if you can walk on fire, good for you. Like, you're just sick.
yeah.
Can
I
you
could
be
see like
my
some.
friend?
I can see some straw man arguments for this, of like, oh, you could walk on hot embers and not be burned. Like it must be, excuse me, black magic or something like that. Some sort of supernatural force, and not just that. I don't know quite how it works, but I'm pretty sure it's like a mind over matter kind of thing, and
Oh yeah, no, it burns
something
you.
like that.
You just
Yeah.
don't feel it.
Um, Alt Comics, spelled Comix. I actually looked this up before we started recording, or no, we started recording, but before the podcast had properly started, I think. Comics is like a website that allows users to publish and create comic strips. Like think Garfield or Peanuts, like Sunday newspaper comic strips, probably not entire books. I mean, you probably can do entire comic books, but yeah. And so I think just saying alt comics is just like comics made by like alt right people or something like that. Like it's just
Yeah.
comic strips made by weird or strange or people that believe in other things. Like I don't think it's anything inherent about the comic strip itself. Maybe I'm just completely misunderstanding and didn't research it enough, but yeah, that one's just there. Uh, this one, same vein as lycanthropy, vampirism.
Yeah, what? Who's believing in real vampires at this meeting?
Okay, so I do have to say,
Who's attended? Someone needs to get these people under control.
so new take
Because
on
they
lycanthropy as well.
very
So
clearly have issues.
I know that there are like scenes where people pretend to be vampires and like make a big deal out of it and romanticized largely because of like Twilight. So there are people that are just out there pretending to be vampires and like living a fake vampire lifestyle. Um which it's like sure if that's what you're into. Like there are so many weird things on the internet and people just doing weird things at this point that I've given up. Like,
Like,
unless
yeah,
you
do whatever you
personally
want to
give,
do. Like, I don't give a
you're not
shit.
hurting anybody, yeah, whatever. As long as you don't make it my problem, because that's where I'm next going with this. What if lycanthropy is just old people not understanding what furries are?
Oh my god! I really hope that's what it is. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh, we are going to hell, and I don't care. Because it's gonna be
which,
fun.
by the way, fuck furries, can't stand them. If you're a furry, fuck you. Put me on record. I don't give a fuck. I say this because I actually know several furries
And they're like
from
the
my
worst.
Arma unit. And some of them aren't that bad. Like, I'll be honest. Quite a few of them, you wouldn't know were furries unless they had admitted to it. And so they seem like regular people. But the ones that are, like, obviously furries and it's just very clear, like, oh, you're a furry? Problematic as hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. Then trilateralism, whatever that is.
Don't know.
I'm assuming it's gonna be just like all the other ones of it's just some like new age religion, which I think is just on the list anyway. Yeah, New Age religions. Uh, the policy or practice of maintaining relations and cooperations between three groups, nations, or regions.
People
Wait, that
working
seems like
together?
yeah. Wait, that can't be that
wait,
can't be
no,
what they're
nah,
talking about. There's
nah,
got to
that
be
ain't
another.
that ain't right.
Please tell me there's another definition. The policy and economic, the political and economic policy of encouraging friendly relations among three nations or really regions, especially the United States, Western Europe, and Japan, or North America, Europe, and the Pacific Rim. Are these people just? Do they
No.
just hate Japanese people? There's got to be something I'm missing, right?
There's no way.
There's no way. This is about economic policy. uh,
Nah, I refuse. Like I will not. Some of them have been like whatever. Okay, that's a little weird, but whatever. But just nah. Like I refuse to believe that shit. Like that someone is upset about that shit.
I can't find anything to say otherwise. I think it's just talking about people in the world getting along.
Nah, like
What?
just no.
What?
just
What?
just no.
Randall, edit again. First the vegetarians, now just people of different ethnicities or regions cooperating. Like, is this specifically like the examples that the freedictionary.com gave of Europe, North America, and the Pacific Rim? Like, it can't be those three specifically that is the issue. Like, I'm pretty sure that was just a generic example. Like, is this just something about like people getting along with the Middle East or something? Does this have to do with like terrorism or something vaguely?
Yeah, like what the action? Like actually, what? Like that
I
just doesn't make sense to me at all.
I don't know. Um, I'll add a either I'll try to add either a poll or a Q&A. I'm working on figuring out how those work through the program we use, and I'll see if I can't like put something in and see if any of y'all listeners know what the fuck
Know what the fuck it's
trilateralism
talking
is.
about?
If
Because
it's
we
not
don't.
this political economic policy,
What
um,
is it? If it's not this one thing, what the fuck else could it be?
now marijuana and pot parties we've already covered. LSD and shrooms we've already covered. Video games, sure, video games have been claimed to be
Yeah,
cause of violence for years. Like, I doubt that they're talking about like Animal Crossing here. I mean, maybe they are because like there's anamorphic people, but whatever.
Yeah, hey, well, that falls into the
Lycanthropy.
lycanthropy.
um, but yeah, so sure, there's some violent video games. There's some weird video games. There's video games for literally anything, whatever. Harry Potter. It's about witchcraft and wizardry, which actually the fact that like witchcraft and or wizardry and or black magic isn't just explicitly stated on this list is wild. Like, we get close. We got voodoo, we got Wicca, we've got necromancy. But nobody was just like, what about just putting down witchcraft? Black magic. Like,
Paul thought
what?
of vegetarians, but he couldn't come up with witchcraft.
So yeah, Harry Potter, sure, heard it 1,000 times. Dungeons and Dragons, same
Oh,
vein.
for sure.
It's got magic in it. It's got wizards. It's got warlocks, like making literal agreements with demons or
Demons,
other
yeah.
deities. Yeah, it's got demons. It's got the nine hells. Sure, whatever. Halloween.
Fuck you.
Um,
Like, that's my whole statement. Halloween, yeah, I guess it's Devil's Night. Fuck you,
Yeah,
anyway.
to some extent, like, yeah, it's
like,
whatever.
yeah,
Probably
I
has
guess,
like
but
pagan
also like,
origins. But also, Halloween, as it currently stands, like in the context of Christianity, is the night where like demons or whatever roam, and so you have to put out jack-o'-lanterns to keep them away or whatever. I don't know. But so is this just like Halloween in general, like just exiting your house on Halloween leads to demon possession? Is it celebrating Halloween? Is it just a risky night for everyone?
Just everybody's fucked.
Like, I need a little more context here. Fornication, sure. Sex is
Californication?
terrible. Whatever.
Wait, no, whoa, no, hold on.
What?
There are very many religious things about like sex before marriage, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Nope, no sex.
Just
Gotta be celibate.
having-
It just says fornication.
no, you just agreed with it so casually. I was whoa. Like,
Well, I was being sarcastic.
reproduction is still a thing, right? Like
No. If you see your own penis, you go to hell. You gotta pee with your eyes closed. If you don't do that, I don't understand how you're still around.
Peeing is way too close to masturbating. So like,
Oh yeah.
you have to pull down your pants, but don't touch it.
Your pants have to go all the way to the floor, actually, like to be safe.
Yeah.
So you don't touch anything. You just got to stand there with your pants and underwear around your ankles, butt cheeks out for the world to see.
Cheeks out.
But make sure to clench so nothing tries to sneak up.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. You don't
That
want,
would be
you don't want to
fornication.
get snuck
Yeah,
up
Skull and Bones.
on. No piracy.
Like,
no being pirates.
yeah, like it very much sounds like it's talking about just Jolly Rogers. So is this an anti-pirate position? Our skull. It says skull and bones, not skulls
I have a
and
skull
bones.
and bones. I'm fucked. I'm gonna get possessed by demons, man. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Get shit on for having a skeleton, nerd. I'm actually a gelatinous cube in jeans and a t-shirt.
All right, buddy, calm down over there, Bjorn. I'll be having none of this.
But yeah, so this one's also kind of vague. But if it's just talking about like skulls and bones is like decor or like aesthetic, like sure, whatever.
Yeah, I
Maybe
guess.
a little
Like
too
maybe
close to
like for
that.
sacrifices. I don't know.
Rock music and heavy metal, I'll just put them together.
Just fuck you. Again,
Like sure, the
that's just one
church
of
has been
those
complaining about this. It's
that's
like
just-
video games.
That's just one
It's
of those
like,
where
yeah.
my response is just fuck you. Like
It's like we know why you're saying this. You're wrong, but sure.
I understand where you're coming from. Fuck you.
Burning Man is in the festival out in the desert.
Again,
It's a big like drug kind of festival. It's like a hippie thing. I get it, but yeah, sure, whatever. Twilight films.
yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah,
I mean, vampirism made the list. I think Twilight films would just be assumed, and lycanthropy since there's werewolves in them.
Yeah, true.
I also, not fully, but to some extent, blame the Twilight films for furries. Like, I think furries would have happened without the Twilight films, but I think the Twilight films accelerated things by at least 10 years.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that 100%.
Raves and etc. I think that's what it means by XTC. It might not mean that, but still, raves, sure.
Yeah,
Drugs
fair enough.
happen.
A lot of drugs. lots
Yeah.
of drugs.
Goth culture, sure. Yeah, they look
Fair enough.
like they want to be.
A lot of goths do, like, we'll talk about, like, yeah, Satan. It's like, why? You could be dark and edgy with not celebrating Satan. Like, I'm not gonna stop you either. Fucking celebrate Satan all you want, but I have the hiccups now.
That's unfortunate.
I don't know how, but I have the hiccups now.
And then, last but not least, Disturbia. Which I don't really
I don't know what that means. If I'm
Okay,
completely
so
honest with you.
yeah, so disturbia, as it currently means, uh, according to the Urban Dictionary, because I don't think this is a word that has like an actual proper definition. So according to whatever user wrote this out on Urban Dictionary in 2007, um, this person says disturbia is used to describe the dark side of a good suburban neighborhood. Um, this definition from 2008, the feeling of dread or shock that comes with the realization that something that is normally considered normal and safe is in fact horribly dangerous or wrong. So I don't think either of those definitions are what this list is talking about, which then means
There's something else
that,
that this list is talking about.
well, there's two things that this list could be talking about. There is the Disturbia movie from 2007 with Shia LaBeouf,
And Shia
right?
LaBeouf, I will not stand for anyone who says Shia LaBeouf is not just a good guy.
Uh,
You're gonna try and tell me Shia LaBeouf leads to
yeah,
demonism. I'm going to demonism.
uh, the film follows a teenager who is placed on house arrest for assaulting his school teacher and begins to spy on his neighbors, believing one of them is a possible serial killer.
Mm.
Which I was actually, I didn't even read this line in the Wikipedia article.
So
The next line says partially inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, but
yes,
seeing as I
so
watched that last semester, I almost brought that up on my own, anyways.
I was gonna say, it's like, uh, it's almost the, it's by darker side of. I understand what the Urban Dictionary thing's talking about now. By darker side, it doesn't mean like an edgier side of the neighborhood where it's like more shadowy and stuff. It literally means like bad things are happening in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so either watching, enjoying something related to that movie is the issue, or it's the other Disturbia, the song by Rihanna,
Which I mean,
which I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that they're talking about the song because I think these old white people hate Rihanna more so than they hate Shia LaBeouf. I think they hate both, but
who doesn't love
I am
Shia
thinking,
LaBeouf? No, I don't think they hate Shia LaBeouf. I don't think it's possible to hate Shia LaBeouf.
yeah. So I fully believe that this list is talking about listening to the song by Rihanna as opposed to
Whether it is
the
or
movie.
not, that's what I believe. Like, I want that to be true.
Yeah, so I don't really know where they're getting at with that one. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But
This whole
sure,
list hasn't
whatever.
made a ton of sense to me, so I don't.
No, I would say most of the list has made sense. It's just the occasional thing that absolutely has not.
Yeah, I guess.
What? That was the list. That's everything on it. Careful you don't fall into the temptation of performing yoga,
Or
becoming a
having
vegetarian,
bones.
or having bones.
Don't
Rest
do
in
it,
peace,
guys.
Olivia.
Yeah,
Get fucked for
you're
being a
fucked.
vegetarian. You want to close this out there, Michael?
Sure. You can find us uh, on our live stream every Saturday, most of the time, at CNM in the PM and on YouTube with the same name. And then you can find us on Spotify at C, the and symbol M, in the PM. You can find me during the week at Mikester390, and if stupid sick leave keeps working the way it has been, we'll be streaming more often.
Yep.
And Joe, where can they find you during the week? Because you stream much more reliably than I do.
Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv /Cephas. That is CEPHUS, followed by 2 underscores. Twitch.tv is also where you'd find Michael at Mikester390. I pretty much for sure stream on Saturdays at 7. That's when I play Arma with my unit, for sure, guaranteed. There's a potential for me to stream other nights of the week, but that's less likely as I'm struggling with school and stuff like that. But it will probably also be at 7 because it will probably also be Arma. But yeah, so like I said in the last episode, if you want a taste of me, if you want to pre-game the podcast, you can come hang with me at 7. Although I should say I am arguably very different in the unit than I am here because I'm more comfortable here and I'm just sitting here relaxed talking, whereas in the unit, like I'm doing stuff sometimes under high stress. So